All right, welcome back now to Cavuto Coast to Coast. I'm Connell McShade in for Neil this week, and U.S. and Russia tensions have been intensifying. It's been a big story for us, and President Obama taking what some have described as a hard stand on all of this. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, meantime, holding off on retaliation, at least for now, says he's looking to restore relations under the next president, Donald Trump. So Sean Spicer, who is going to be Donald Trump's press secretary, he was on and he addressed sort of the escalating friction that we've seen between President Obama and the president-elect this week. So we're going to talk about this, but first watch Sean Spicer.
But I think that there's probably a bit of, well, potentially some jealousy at the amount of accomplishments that have already been occurring, both in terms of domestic policy, the job creation. This is a president who is going to accomplish more before becoming president than some presidents may have accomplished in their first couple of months in office.
Okay, we have with us now a former Trump surrogate in Jason Meister, a Democratic strategist in Biro, and a conservative commentator in Sabrina Schaefer. So, Jason, you go first. Jealousy? What do you think?
There's no question President Obama is acting out of complete emotion here, and President-elect Trump is getting under his skin, and you see the deals he's made with Carrier, with Sprint, with Boeing. So he's been very successful before he's even taken office, and I think that it's getting under Obama's skin, and he's acting out on emotions.
What do you think, Robin? The idea that there's somehow some jealousy involved in what the president is doing on his way out?
You know, Connell, I think that's purely arrogant on his part. These deals that Trump had negotiated these were in place long prior to November 8th. Like I said, this is just arrogant. President Obama is...
You're talking about the business deals? You're talking about the job stuff? Is that what you're talking about? Sprint and the like?
Absolutely. Right. And President Obama, I was regional director on his campaign in 2008. He will act and continue to act with the utmost decorum that his job has. If anything, he just wants to see the country continue to prosper.
But Robin, look what he's done in just the last few days with the sanctions on Russia, what he's done to Israel. He's just acting out of complete emotion.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit, especially with Russia, since that's the story of today. And Sabrina, why don't we get your view on this in terms of how has the current president set up the next president? I mean, it's one of two ways. We were talking about it earlier. It could be, hey, he's given him a position to negotiate from, whether it was done on purpose or not. Is these sanctions in place? He can use that to negotiate. Or, as some have written today, he's boxed him in. How do you think he's set up?
Right. Well, look, I mean, I think that it's sort of important to take a step back and realize that we're looking at two administrations, one incoming and one outgoing, that are, doing a little bit of grandstanding, both of them. And they're both interested in sort of reminding the world that they have competing views on how to run the government, how large the government should be and what kind of accomplishments they want to have in terms of foreign policy and domestic policy. So, of course, it's not surprising that we're seeing President Obama sort of try to push through a number of regulations on his way out and make these comments about Israel and set things up on the Russia stage. And at the same time, it's not surprising that Trump wants to come in appearing to be already sort of in charge with confidence from the American people. So I think we have to sort of, walk a fine line. I don't think either is really in the right here.
All right. So, well, okay, that's fair. Jason, to go back to you on the point you were starting to make there. So the president-elect comes in. He's inaugurated January 20th as the next president. How do you think he handles these various situations? Does he, for example, if we take up Russia, first of all, does he go in there and change the position he's had? Does he stay friendly towards the Russians? Does he use these sanctions kind of as a negotiating tool? What do you think?
Look, I think that what you're witnessing is the difference between a community organizer and a shrewd negotiator who wrote The Art of the Deal. President-elect Trump is running circles around President Obama, and I think what you're seeing is you're seeing someone who knows how to make good deals, someone who knows how to position the U.S. properly. It's not such a bad thing to use Russia in certain ways to put China on the defense. I think that what Trump is doing, he's a chess player, and he knows how to play the game.
The
and
question
he's
is,
doing it very,
he's
very
playing be a tough chess opponent, I would think, in Vladimir Putin. But in terms of who's using who, and you're saying, Jason Robb is making the point that it is Trump who's ahead of the game, kind of using Russia, pitting them against China. But that will be an interesting dynamic to watch. What do you think, Robin?
This is the art of the deal. This is the art of the election. We're beyond that now, and Donald Trump, I don't know what he's doing. He's making these victory laps. He's not taking calls from foreign leaders. He's only taking his security briefings once a week. What is there to be jealous of?
President Obama is on a hopeless tour. And Michelle Obama is saying we have no hope. I think America finally has hope. I think that we finally have hope, and I think that what this president-elect is doing is giving a sense that he's going to be pro-growth, pro-business. President Obama's legacy, that's what he's trying to grab onto. His legacy is the destruction of the Democratic Party.
Well, President Obama has already said that he will dedicate more time than presidents typically allow for a transition, so that to ensure a smooth transition.
I wonder what it'll
because
be like
all that
afterwards.
he's concerned about is the welfare of our country.
He's doing a smooth
Do you
transition.
think these two will have any relationship, Sabrina, after the 20th, or they'll just never speak again?
You know, I suspect that this is not going to be sort of a warm and cuddly relationship. I think if we really look back and sort of think about what's happening here, is that President Obama, whether you like him or not, is of a progressive mindset. He believes, deeply sort of in top-down government regulations. We've had a lot of, his legacy is Obamacare, and we have Trump coming in. We don't know all of what he will stand for, but we have a number of cabinet picks that look much more towards that pro-growth, ground-up kind of accomplishments. And so I think we're going to have to see how things pan out. If Trump ultimately is able to repeal and replace Obamacare with a market-based system of health care, well, that is probably not going to lead to sort of Thanksgiving dinners between the Obamas and the Trumps.
I don't think we have to worry about that. Sabrina, thanks, and Jason, Robin, thanks to you guys as well. We appreciate it. Now, with the markets today, I mean, it's one thing.